God, open up, I beg. We don't arrive, we don't try. After all our work, you don't let us in, I beg. Open for us. Yallah Habibi, how are you? How you doing? How's the family? Welcome to the channel again this week. I have so much stuff to share with you. As always, today's zone is going to be very insightful. I believe it's going to change your perspective about one of the oldest told stories in the scriptures. I want you to just stick around and get to learn something and hopefully share that with a friend. It's also very instructive. You know, there are a lot of stories in the Old Testament that we see that are not necessarily written to us, but they're written for us, for our learning, for our example, for us to do better and to see the principles behind how God deals with his people. And this is one of them. So please stay tuned. It's going to be fantastic. If you haven't already, please subscribe and make sure you leave a comment. If something you learned here blessed you, let us know. Just be kind with your comments and share them along. All right, so let's get right to it. I want to talk about the Tower of Babel. I don't know if it's Babel or it's Babel, right? And I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but Babel is what it is, the Tower of Babel. And it actually derives its name from Babylon. That's where it derives its name from, Babylon. So it's an offshoot from how the civilization of Babylon came together after this moment. We're talking Genesis 11. And I think many of us have had this story wrong altogether. There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding this story. And one of the major misconceptions is this. I'm just going to give you a couple of points. Number one, it's not just a tower, right? It's not just a Tower of Babel. It's more than that. It's not some Burj Khalifa that, they're building to be the tallest building in the world, which it is right now. And they're currently trying to build another one to supersede that. And man, God punish poverty, man. Some of us are surviving. Some people are thriving and they're building things that nobody really might need. But that's not the point. So this is not just some tower that reaches up from Genesis 11. What you see is, the people there are saying, come, let us build for ourselves a city. So it was not just a tower, it was a city that was so tall and so large. I'll use the words of dear President Trump. So big, so good. Nothing like you've ever seen before. Not even China can build this. So huge. That's what was being built there. And it was a place where people would settle and live in, a city where they would dwell and just build a civilization around. So that's kind of what it was. So very important to know that. Another thing to know, which is a major misconception, is they were not trying to get into heaven as per to where God was. In fact, the opposite is the case. So I know it sounds like it's when they say, let us build a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens. I know when we subconsciously hear heavens, we're thinking where God stays. But from reading the scriptures, you can clearly tell that when you hear the word heaven, you need to ask the next question, what type of heaven? I know this sounds weird. I know people have written all sorts of things and, there are 7 heavens and there are different levels based on, your level of consecration on the earth. So if you're a general for God, you're going to level 7. Some of you enter level 3. All nonsense, right? There are only 3 types of heaven that we see in the scriptures. I'm going to give you some examples. The first heaven is the firmament, which is the sky. And I'm going to read the scripture to you. Of course, Genesis chapter 1 tells us this from verse 6 to 8. It says, God said, let it be a firmament in the midst of the waters, which describes 2 types of waters in different forms. I'm going to explain what that is. Let it divide the waters from the waters. So God made the firmament, divided the waters which were under the firmament from that which is above the firmament. And God called the firmament heaven. Firmament literally means sky. So what waters is he talking about? The waters on the of course below the sky. That's the seas, the oceans, and the waters above, which is the clouds, right? So this is what the sky does. It separates those two from each other. So that's the first heaven. Deuteronomy 11 verse 11 says, "But the land which you cross over to possess rather, is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of heaven." If you know where rain comes from, you know that rain comes from the clouds, it comes from the heavens. So in that context, heaven is the sky. The second heaven in scriptures is space. Isaiah 13 verse 10 says it, "For the stars of heaven." So this is above the sky. This is way high up in altitude. This is in the cosmos, in space, where the stars, the planets, the Milky Way galaxy, supernovas, and all these bodies that are in the universe, in the cosmos, this is where they dwell. So for the stars of heaven and their constellations will not give their light. So Isaiah is talking about a different kind of heaven here. And then there's the third heaven. 2 Corinthians 12, Paul talks about it. He's kind of narrating in third person. "I know a man in Christ." Of course, he's talking about himself, "who 14 years ago, whether in the body, I do not know, or whether out of the body, I do not know. God knows. Such a one was caught up to the third heaven." Very specific. To the third heaven. He's describing something beyond the first, the sky, something beyond the cosmos, and he's talking about a heaven that is beyond that. I want to believe he's talking about the heaven where God dwells with the celestial beings. And this is beyond the physical plane. It's a spiritual plane. You can't climb any height to reach heaven. How high do you want to climb? So these guys were not talking about building a tower that will reach God's gate. So when they get there, say, "Oh yeah, God, open up, I beg. We don't arrive. We don't try. After all our work, you not let us in. I beg, open for us." That's not what God was not scared that these guys were going to intrude in his private space. That was not the idea. They were going to build a tower that reached to the sky and to the heaven. So that's very important. And another misconception is God was not threatened by their creativity or their unison, right? He wasn't, concerned about it. The real problem is they were trying to build a tower that was reaching to the sky. And let me ask you, what heaven do you think I'm describing that these guys were talking about? The first heaven, exactly. They were trying to build one that reached to the sky. So let me tell you the real reason. It's deeper than many people think. The real reason why God did what he did. Many of you know the story. If you don't know already, spoiler alert, the building was scattered and the people were scattered as well. And this is the real reason why. Let's go to the text. Let's go to Genesis 11, verse 4. I hope you're learning something so far. It says, "And they said, 'Come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower whose top reaches into the heaven.'" We've read that already. It says, "Let us make a name for ourselves. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." Now, I'm going to take it from behind. The real reason God scattered was because they did not want to spread and fill the earth. They wanted to stay in one place and be there and create a civilization for themselves. And the instruction God gave was, to man, multiply, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, right? Populate the earth, go into every place and fill this earth. You are my envoys on earth. I want you to be all around. But he said, "You know what, God? Nice suggestion, nice idea. But we want to do our own thing. Let's just stay in one place. We don't need to. Why are we wandering? Are we wanderers? What are we doing? What are we wandering about? Let's stay here. Let's build a civilization." And God did not instruct them to do that. The second thing we see in this text is that they wanted to make a name for themselves. So they wanted to build something that people would look to and say, "Hey, these guys did this." To build their reputation, to build a name outside of God, a name for themselves, to get the approbation of men, the applause of men, at the expense of what God actually wanted for them. And this is a very powerful thing to think about, because I'm bringing this to you now to think about this story. What can we learn from it? Clearly, a lot of people today, and maybe this is you, I know I've been there too. Many people are still building their towers of Babel right now. You might not look like an actual structure, but what many people are doing is they're going against what God wanted, going against God's plan for their life, trying to build something, make a name for themselves, maybe out of ambition. You call it ambition, and you do everything that you want to do. Then when you're done, you say, you know what, God, you said you bless the works of our hands, so bless what I have done. And true obedience and surrender to God and consecration to God is not, God, I've done everything, just bless it. It's, Lord, what do you want me to do? And if you find out what God actually wants to do, he blesses it already. It's a given fact. God blesses the things he sponsors and the things he commands. So a lot of people are doing their own thing. Oh, you know what? This is what happens when you're done with school. You do your youth service. For those of you who are Nigerians, your national youth service. You get a job after maybe 1 year, then you jet out, do your masters, and you're not coming back to your country. You stay there. You have a 5-year, 10-year plan for your life. This is what you want. And the question is God even aware of your plan? Like, does he even know it, like what you're doing? Of course, he knows from an omniscient point, but have you taken it to him? Have you even considered for 1 second, God, what do you actually want for my life? I know what I want for my life, and what I want is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof is destruction. However, Lord, I want to know, what is your plan for my life? What do you want me to do with my life? I want to not live my life like these people. I don't want to build an edifice that does not glorify you. I don't want to build a career progression where people look at my life and say, hey, look at this guy. He's he's a VP. He is a senior VP. He is a director. He's even a CEO of so company. And all the while, the Lord just wanted you to actually focus on education, start a school in some remote area and be involved in philanthropic stuff, and you've gone a whole other direction than what God wanted for you. Or maybe the Lord has called you to do ministry and you've just been shying away from that, and you're like, I don't think I'm worthy, I don't think it's the right time. And the Lord said you should have started already. And you're building something that God is not involved in. Like, they were building something that was glamorous, that was beautiful, and God was not in it. Like, God was looking at, like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but this is not what I said. It's a powerful lesson that a lot of us have to reflect on. God, am I aligned to your will, or am I just building something that will not last in the end? I hope this gives you something to think about. Tell me, what are those things you feel the Lord has said? If you need some accountability, let us know. I can help in my own way, push you in that direction. If there's anything you've learned, share as well. If there's something I missed or you want to talk about, feel free to share. But it's a powerful story of what happens when people do things that God never wanted them to do. Proverbs 3, I'll land with this, from verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. It's true. Acknowledge him. Don't just, do your thing in ambition. Acknowledge him and involve him in your life, and he will always direct your path. All right, stay safe, stay blessed. I love you all. See you in the next one. Bye.